Welcome to BullTV, where we're bullish on Collierville and the Mid-South. I'm your host, David Pickler. BullTV is a monthly show that empowers, educates, and entertains while highlighting the people who inspire and deliver solutions for a stronger community. BullTV is presented by Pickler Companies and is proudly produced by the students of Collierville High School. We invite you to watch our show at www.bulltv.show, thebullnetwork.com, and Comcast Channel 1081. New episodes air on the second Sunday of every month at 3 p.m. Central Time. Today on BullTV, we're joined by Lisa Settle, Executive Director of the Memphis Oral School for the Deaf. Lisa shares her journey in education leadership, what drives her passion for early intervention, and how MOSD is transforming the lives of children and their families. Today I'm joined by Lisa Settle, Executive Director of the Memphis Oral School for the Deaf. She brings more than 20 years of experience in education leadership, program design, and organizational innovation. Born in Memphis, Lisa's passion for education and service has shaped a career spanning higher education, K-12 transformation, and national leadership. She's led large-scale school improvement efforts across Tennessee, helping strengthen systems of support for students and teachers. And she also co-founded 2 elementary schools. Deeply committed to equity and access, Lisa was drawn to MOSD's mission of empowering children with hearing loss through early intervention and family partnership. And she's especially excited about expanding early learning through First Joy Preschool as MOSD enters its next chapter of growth. Well, we are so thrilled to have it. Obviously, we've been very excited to have you join the MOSD family. Now, Lisa, you may have watched our show before, but we always begin by kind of a get-to-know-you session. So tell me, in 3 words, who is Lisa Settle?
Wow, that's a harder question than people might think. Lisa Settle is driven,
Okay.
She is dedicated, and she is supportive.
Interesting. When you say supportive, what does that mean to you?
Supportive of those who need it, whether it's my team, whether it's our families we serve, whether it's the children in the building, and whether it's other facets of our community. I am there to provide the gifts that I've been given to support my community and my world and our world.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, again, I really am very excited for our audience to learn a little bit about what drew you to this very unique little place called the Memphis Oral School for the Deaf at this point in your career?
Yeah, I was absolutely drawn to MOSD because of the mission. Our mission, our desire, and the way that we support children who have hearing loss. And I was especially driven to the ability for me to come and join the organization at a time of growth where we can expand our services and who we support and how many children and families we serve. And so that was really exciting to me, but more than anything, it was the mission of the school.
I love that. And of course, we talk about the name of the school, Memphis Oral School for the Deaf.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. What is oral deaf education, and how does this differ from sign language?
Sure.
A lot of people may be confused by that.
Yes, they do. Oftentimes when people hear the name Memphis Oral School for the Deaf, they automatically think, do you sign? Do you all do sign language? So an oral school is a school where we focus on listening, spoken language, where we have children, all of our children in our building have a hearing device. They have some sort of device that helps them or enables them, gives them the ability to hear or to enhance their hearing. So at an oral school, we focus on helping our children learn and understand, first of all, what hearing is. We have children who are deaf or profoundly deaf. They've not heard or had the gift of sound. And so what we do is we use that gift of sound that our children get through technology, and then we also teach them to listen and also to speak. So an oral school is where we focus on listening and speaking, listening and spoken language.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to talk a little bit further in the future in the conversation about technology.
Yes.
But for people who may not be familiar, so you say, so again, when we say, what is MOSD and who do you serve?
Yes.
You know, are we talking about, you know, is this adults, is it, you know, teenagers? You know, exactly who is it that you serve?
At MOSD, we serve children, and our children who have come through our day school and graduated from our day school can also come back and receive support and services as they need from us. But primarily, Memphis Oral School for the Deaf has many programs. We have 3 programs where we engage with families and we provide support and services to family of children who have failed that hearing screening.
Okay.
Once they fail that hearing screening and there are other, it is determined or they have been diagnosed to be deaf or profoundly deaf, profoundly hard of hearing, they can come to our school. Okay. So we have children there, we have babies who start with us as young as 3 months old.
Oh my goodness.
Once they have been diagnosed, and if the parent has chosen to use technology or a hearing device, they come to our school. We have 3 programs where we serve our youngest children, 3 months old, up to 1.5, 2 years old. And we also have a day school where we serve our children through like a typical preschool. They can stay with us until they're 5 years old and they're ready to matriculate into another school.
Okay, you said 3 programs. I heard about the babies.
Yes,
I think you said basically from like 3 months to like 1.5 years, and then you have the day school up until about age 5. What is the 3rd program?
I'm sorry. We have Sound Beginnings, we have Sound Transformations, and we have Sound Voyagers. So we have those 3 programs, and we have the day school.
Okay, fair enough. Wow. So why is early intervention so critical for children who are born with hearing loss?
Early intervention is critical just like with any other challenge that a child may be born with. The sooner we can get and provide these interventions and support for children, the better they learn to speak, the faster they learn to speak more clearly, and all of those other types of things. And what we want to do is do that early intervention so that our children can lead productive, independent lives the way they choose to lead.
Now, you mentioned earlier about the screening. When does a child get screened?
Newborn screenings. After a family has a baby, one of the first things they do before they leave the hospital is a hearing screening. And so if a baby fails that hearing screening, and then there's other testing that's done and they are diagnosed as deaf or profoundly hard of hearing, we are there to serve.
Wow. And again, so the earlier that you can get the child.
Yes.
Then does it make a difference in terms of their speech patterns the earlier that you can work with them?
No.
It doesn't?
No, it does not make a difference. What we do in our program is a listening spoken language school.
Okay.
We help children develop that. We support them in their development. We teach that, and we teach them to learn to speak and to hear. As I mentioned earlier, it's just like you would with any other child. Our children just have a little bit more sparkle.
Well, absolutely. Well, having visited school a few times.
A few.
I always tell people when I walk in there, this is going to be the loudest deaf school that you've ever been to. And you learn that these are just normal kids.
Yes, they are. They are normal kids. They laugh. And one of the most joyous things is to hear the noise in the building, to hear them speaking, to hear them shrieking if they're shrieking and happy and laughing and that sort of thing, because that is what we want them to do, and that's what they want to do, and that's what their families want them to do, and to hear them speak and sing. Wow. Very exciting.
That's incredible. So when we think about this whole idea of early intervention, then what impact does early language development have later in life?
Early language development gives our students, our children, the ability to communicate the way their parents and they have chosen to communicate. Okay. We are giving them I don't want to say the gift of speech, but it's the gift of speech. And so our children later in life can do whatever they want to do. They can express themselves, they can sing. We have graduates of our schools who are singers and they play music and they listen to music and all things that they would not have been able to do if their parents had not chosen for them to use some sort of technology for hearing.
Now, MOSD has been around for over 60 years
Yes.
now. And having been involved in the school for more than a quarter of a century myself,
Yes.
you know, it's often striking that when you meet a student who came back to the school as an alumni that may have been a student in the early years,
Yes.
that their speech sounds different
Yes.
than the children who have come through in the past 25 or 30 years. Is that an impact of the earlier development, or what would be really the difference for kids who sound deaf
Yes.
versus those today who, if you don't see the cochlear implant or hearing
Right.
aids, you may not even know?
Absolutely. The early intervention is absolutely key in that. And honestly, the advancement in technology. Technology has changed, and our children get to use, they have the state-of-the-art technology out there to help them be able to hear and to learn. And when we can provide that early intervention, they speak, as you just said, you wouldn't even know if you didn't see the impact, the cochlear implant, excuse me, or the hearing aid. You would never know.
That's amazing. I love that. You know, a few years ago, we actually had an event at MOSD with Justin Osmond,
Oh,
the Osmond family.
yeah.
And a lot of people don't realize that almost all of the men in the Osmond family eventually lose their hearing. And they were some of the early advocates
Wow.
for oral deaf education.
Love it.
And Justin helped bring a program to the school where the kids learned how to play the violin.
Oh, love it, yes.
And it's just incredible. These kids can do anything. They
Yes.
can lead life of limitless possibilities.
Absolutely. And that early intervention in children, our children learning to speak and listening spoken language, they can do anything. They can do everything. And that is what we are there to do.
Well, and doesn't it also make a difference in terms of the fact that these students can go into public school and maybe not have to go through as much special education services,
Absolutely.
and maybe even save the taxpayers' dollars?
Yes, absolutely. When our children leave our school, our day school, and they matriculate into any school, we are there to provide any support that is needed. We will go to the new school. We will provide education, because oftentimes people are afraid because they don't want to hurt the child, or, you know, they think the child is fragile and that sort of thing, and they're not. Trust me, they're not. And we go and we help so that we can make sure that our children have a smooth transition into their next school, and they can do anything. And oftentimes oftentimes we ask teachers to wear mini mics if that is something that the child needs, and it's just a little microphone they clip on just to further amplify their voice so we can make sure our children can hear.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, all right, so you've talked about all these amazing things that can happen for these kids. So let's talk a little bit process.
Okay.
So how early can families begin working with MOSD, and what does that first step look like? So, you know, so all of a sudden, you know, we've just had a baby, you know, we're walking away from the hospital, we've just gotten this devastating news.
Yes.
That our child is deaf.
Yes.
So what's that first step look like?
So first of all, when parents get that information and hear that their child is deaf, they get that diagnosis that their child is deaf, I would assume one of the first reactions is fear. And so what we do at MOSD, we want to assuage that fear. We're here, we support, and we will walk them through. So after that child fails the hearing screening and they either visit their own ENT doctor, they have testing done, yes, they've been diagnosed profoundly deaf, they can start coming to us as early as 3 months old.
Wow.
And what that parent does is they just connect with us. We have programs. We have wonderful audiologists and speech-language pathologists at our school, and they can get them into that Sound Beginnings program. And in that program, it's not only focused on the child. It's also focused on parent training and
Yes.
helping the parents understand this is what's going on, this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, and what they can do and how they should communicate with their child at home. So we are there to really provide sort of wraparound services, if you will, because we want to support this baby and this child and the family and the parents. So we do provide that education as well.
There are again using that word supportive.
Yeah, yes.
And so this sounds like quite a commitment by the parents.
Yes.
As well as the child.
Absolutely.
Goodness gracious. So for someone walking through the doors, you know, for the very first time,
Yes.
what do you think it is that makes MOSD so special?
Oh my, I think it's what we spoke about earlier. how loud it is. Because when people hear about a deaf school, they automatically think it is the quietest place. It is not. It is just as loud.
Maybe even a sad place.
Yes, and it is not. It is just as lively and loud, and you hear teachers teaching, and you hear children talking and responding. You may even hear singing. You may even hear music and instruments and that sort of thing, and it is a beautiful, rich environment where we are there for all of our little ones in the building and for all of our parents. When you walk into MOSD, you instantly feel that warmth and you feel that safety that we are there to provide for families, because again, that fear is there. And parents are wondering, what is life going to be like for my child? It is going to be whatever they want it to be.
All right, let's build on that. You said, what's it like for our child?
Yeah.
So what would a typical day look like for a student at MOSD?
Awesome. So a child comes, there's people there. There are people there at the door to greet the child. You are greeted by warm, smiling faces. Parents check their child in and they go and put their things down and they go into Pickler Hall at MOSD and they sing. Our students we sit in a circle, we have our teachers in there, we have our teacher assistants in there, and we sing. And they sing, and the children get to determine, they get to choose what song we sing. So they sing, we have a great time in there, and then they go to their classrooms. And you hear the microphones in the room come on, you hear the speakers come on in the room, and then you hear teachers teaching, and you hear children learning. And then, so they go and they learn, and then they do lunch, and they play, all the things that you see in a typical day school. So when you walk into MOSD, it just feels a little better.
I love that. So talk a little bit more about what role does the collaboration play among the teachers, among the speech therapists, and the families, because all of it's got to be this family that comes together to help the child.
Absolutely. So at MOSD, in our day school, we teach with themes, and everybody knows what the theme is for that week. So when our children are in their classrooms, they are following the theme, and the theme is beautiful. Whatever that theme is, you can tell as you walk through the building. But our speech language pathologists also know the theme. So when they're doing their individual therapy with children, they have whatever they need, whatever supports or devices or toys, or if this week is the Wild Wild West, and it is great at MOSD this week. So they have items that reflect the theme, so that we want that continuity and consistency, so that we are all saying the same types of things so that our children can learn. Our audiologists as well, when they're doing their oral habilitation, AURAL, oral habilitation with them, they also know the themes and are using the same types of props or figurines or whatever that they need to make sure we're tying into the theme.
Sounds like a fun place.
It's so much fun.
That is great. All right, now we've talked a lot about the role the teachers play, the role that the speech therapists play, the role that the parents play, but there's a role for technology.
Yes.
And I know that technology has changed a lot. So how does technology play a role in what you do in those classrooms? Yes.
So at MOSD, all of our children have a hearing device of some sort. They may have a cochlear implant. They may have a bone-anchored hearing aid or a BAHA, or they may have an over-the-ear hearing aid.
Okay.
So all of our children have some sort of technological assisted device.
So what is a cochlear implant?
A cochlear implant is an implant that is placed on children through surgery, and it is placed at their ear where children are able to hear. And from there's a little magnet. And so what we see is the magnet that is attached to the child's head, and that helps to receive and amplify the sound. The cochlear implant creates the ability for the body to hear, because that
So
child
we don't hear with our ear?
They hear with their inner ear.
Inner ear.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so that's the role of the cochlea.
Yes.
And so the cochlear implant allows with those vibrations,
yes,
I guess?
It allows the vibration and the sounds. And so what we see, the magnet is just a magnet. And oftentimes people think the magnet is the implant. It's not. It's just a magnet. And that magnet is there to receive the sound and amplify that sound.
Now, how old would a child have to be able to have that implant?
We have a child as young as 3 months old.
3 months
yes,
old?
Yes, who has received her implant.
Now, would they have to go back and have later surgeries down the road?
No.
You're kidding me.
That's it.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. So, and I'm assuming that so even as technology develops,
Yes.
then they can step up to the next level of technology.
Yes.
It's got to be an amazing moment when they actually turn on that technology.
Yes. It is one of the most beautiful, wonderful, tear-jerking moments ever. It is so wonderful to turn that device on and see that child's face light up and see the child change because something's different in their world.
Right.
And then to see and have those families there and those parents there, and often, you know, parents saying, "Can you hear me? I'm mommy. Can you hear me? I'm daddy. Can you hear me?"
Oh my
And
God.
the child looks at them in tears.
Sure.
It is absolutely wonderful.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, and I can only imagine, you know, what a parent's reaction might be the first time that child can say, "I love you."
Yes. I'd say to hear "I love you," and then be able to say it back.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I feel like we've already answered this question to a certain extent, but what does success look like for a child who graduates
Yeah.
from MOSD? Because you talked about, you know, as young as 3 months, and you know, and typically around age 5, they age out.
Yeah.
So what does success look like for a graduate?
Success for a graduate looks like someone who is able to make their own choices, to be able to engage in their world, to be able to hear, to speak, to communicate orally the way they want to and the way their families want them to. Success looks like children who can sing and smile and laugh and talk and decide this is what I want to do in my life and be able to do it and communicate in an oral fashion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to raise a question that's a little bit off topic.
Okay.
But, you know, we talked about the fact that we don't do sign language
Yes.
at MOSD, but we know that there's a large portion
Yes.
of the population that embrace American Sign Language.
Yes.
And is there some conflict between the oral deaf education world and the sign language world? You know, how do these two worlds interact?
There's, in my eyes and in our eyes, there's not a conflict.
Okay.
Parents have chosen that they want their child to be able to communicate orally
Okay.
and to be able to hear.
Okay.
It's a choice. And that is what these parents want for their children. And so what we are there to do is to provide that pathway for that to happen.
Okay.
They want their children to communicate orally. American Sign Language is another language. And so those parents have chosen to have their child and communicate with their child through sign language. And there's nothing wrong with either world.
So it's just a choice.
It's just a choice.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right, we talked a little bit about the process, and we talked a little bit about the fear factor. So what would you say, you probably have to do this,
Yeah.
what would you say to a parent who's just learned that their child has a profound hearing loss or is deaf?
Yeah. First thing I would say is it's okay. It's okay. That reassurance, excuse me, that reassurance is necessary because they're afraid. And they are afraid not just of the world for their child, but the world to their child.
Yes.
And so what my words would be, it's okay. We're here. We got you. And so what we do is we just provide that education for parents. Parents don't know if they don't have a deaf child or if they don't have deaf other family members or friends, they don't know. And
Right.
it is that fear and lack of information and fear of the unknown. So I would say it's okay. And we walk them through, we walk with you through this process.
Well, the thing that I've experienced over all these years is we say that we take these children from a life may have some limitations
Yes.
to a life of limitless
They
possibility.
are absolutely limitless.
There's literally nothing these kids can't do.
There's nothing they
One of
can
my
do.
favorite stories is we had a young lady who was in school many years ago by the name of Brittany Pellegra.
Okay.
And Brittany was a basketball player in high school at Bartlett High School.
Okay.
And a competitor of Collierville High School, and she used to laugh because she had a competitive advantage. Because oftentimes when she would be in the game and she would be going for a free throw, and the crowd would be trying to distract her and
Yeah.
yell and scream at her, and she would just laugh because she had taken her cochlear implant off. It had no impact on her, but she was like
Love
an
it.
all district basketball player, and we have kids doing everything. There's no limitation.
None. It is not, because just because you have or you need a device to hear doesn't change who you are as a person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So thinking about all these great things you're doing,
Yes.
what are the biggest opportunities
Yes.
that you see ahead for MOSD?
One of the biggest opportunities at MOSD is something you referred to earlier, is our acquisition of First Way Preschool.
Okay.
It is opportunity to serve, to be able to expand who we are and to do what we do for more children and more families. That is the biggest opportunity for us, and also the biggest challenge for us, David.
Well, I would imagine that's, I mean, that certainly requires a little bit of a maybe not a mission shift, but, or maybe it is a mission shift. So, I mean, so when you look at that challenge, you know, what are some of those challenges you have of incorporating this new paradigm? Because you know, you have a day school, and now you have a preschool.
Yes.
And so as an education leader, I mean, obviously you have experience in starting elementary schools and being a transformational leader. So how do you manage those type of challenges?
Well, for us, it's a both and.
Okay.
And this is an opportunity for us to grow. We have our First Way Preschool, which is a wonderful place for children. And one of the interesting parts about that is we have our first baby, our first child, who is in First Way Preschool, who just got her cochlear implants.
Oh, really?
So, yes. So this is starting to build the bridge. We're not trying to change what First Way Preschool does. We're not changing what MOSD does. But we have the opportunity to serve more children and to provide support to more families.
And you see synergies that are committed.
Absolutely. Our programs that I spoke about earlier are 2 days a week. Well, parents need childcare other days of the week. They can get that childcare over at First Way Preschool.
Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, a lot of people don't realize that, you know, that MOSD has been based in Germantown for quite a few years, and it originated out of a partnership with Kingsway Christian Church in the building that they built right on Poplar. And with some changes in the church, that y'all were able to acquire that building, and thus the opportunity to acquire the First Joy opportunity.
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. So as a small independent school,
that
what are the greatest challenges that you see in the area of funding and also creating awareness for this miraculous school that you've got?
So one of the greatest areas for us is funding. We have wonderful partners and wonderful community supporters and stakeholders who provide financial support to the school. Some really great people.
Really?
Yeah, some really great people who provide support to us. You and your company and your family provide great support to us. We need more of that. What we do, you spoke about it, all the technology and the technological changes, it takes money to be able to do that. It takes finances to be able to do that. And at MOSD, we don't turn a child away if their parents can't pay. We operate on a sliding fee scale, and so we absorb those fees and those charges to pay our wonderful teachers and TAs and all of that. So one of the greatest challenges is growing our group of supporters who support us financially. We don't get any funding from the federal government or the state government. We apply for grants, we get grants, and that's how we get additional funding. But everything else we do, we must raise.
Wow. So approximately how much does it cost every year to educate a child in MOSD?
Excuse me, every year to educate a child at MOSD would be well over $150,000?
$150,000.
Yes, as I think
and
about
that's got to be privately raised through
absolutely.
grants and donations and fundraisers.
And that's on the conservative side.
Wow, that's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. So how can our community better support children, who have this hearing loss and their families? So if you're out there and you're watching this show and you want to get involved, you want to provide support, how can they get involved?
You can go to our website, mosdkids.org, and there are many, many opportunities that you can support us. And I know we'll talk about this in just a bit, but we have an annual fundraiser that's coming up. There are opportunities to give at any point in time of the day, night, evening. You can go to our website and look at what we do and see what we do. And if you are moved, provide some financial support to us.
We would love that.
Yeah.
Well, and let Felix talk about that.
Yeah.
You've got the biggest fundraiser of your year coming up, Speakeasy.
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about Speakeasy, when it is, and again, how viewers can get involved if they want to come and be a part of this great mission.
Yeah, so we're having our 15th Speakeasy on May 2nd, 2026 at 5:30 p.m. And what you can do is go to our website again, mosdkids.org. You can click on Speakeasy 2026, And you can buy tickets and come out. We would love to have everybody join us. We want to have to put up a banner on our website that says sold out. We would love that. But even if we're sold out, you can still give.
Absolutely.
But we would love for people to come and join us, the community to come and join us, see what we do. We will have one of our graduates of the school speaking so you can see and you can hear, and she can talk about the impact on her life. But we would love for people to join us. You can, and even if you can't give, or if you can't give or you can't attend, you can donate. We are having a silent auction. We are having a live auction. You can donate to the school, gift cards, items, whatever. We will take it and we will use it and auction it that night to raise funds so we can continue to do what we do for our children.
Fantastic. So Speakeasy, is there like a theme with this?
It's a double entendre with Speakeasy because we want our children to speak easily.
Oh.
But yes,
very clever there. Okay.
There is a theme, and as you know, speakeasies came about in the 1920s.
Okay.
They were hidden. They were, excuse me, they were secretive. You had to find these places, and they were great.
Like the secret knock or whatever?
Yes, there were great parties. You go to these places where you would not think anything is going on. You open the door, and there's a party. And so we have taken that, and what our theme is for our speakeasy is hidden in plain sight.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I understand that for those people who so imbibe that there may be things like whiskey and cigars and
going to,
all kinds of casino games.
Yes.
Okay. So someone might actually have a good time while doing good.
Yes. Dancing, auction, it's a lot of fun. We invite you to come.
Well, I have to admit that my original involvement with MOSD happened over 25 years ago because of a major fundraiser called Subsidium and the Carousel of Shops. And my wife got involved, and my wife Beth has been very, very actively involved for over 30 years now. And the passion and love that she has for the school and our entire family is deeply involved. And we love MOSD, and we love the kids. It's just been amazing watching generations of kids that have gone on and done such incredible things. We love that. So I know that you've only been at MOSD a little over a year, or right around a year, I guess.
Actually, it's been 4 months.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So, goodness gracious, it's even longer than that. So, what moment at MOSD has had the most impact on you so far?
Oh gosh, David, there's so many. But I will say, my first day, I walked into the building, sat my things down, and I heard this wonderful sound. And I followed that sound. And that was our children sitting in a circle, singing. And I was fully committed at that point. That sound and the joy and the yay and the clapping at the end, that moved me. It touched me deeply.
That's, the singing of the kids, the fact these deaf kids sing. I'll share one last story. Many years ago, we did a partnership with the Redbirds.
Yes.
And we actually filmed our children singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game."
Love it.
And for over a year, at the 7th inning stretch at AutoZone Park, they would play our kids.
Oh, I love it.
Singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game," and so watching these deaf kids. And of course, we also did it live one night, which is incredible. Now, let's talk a little bit more about First Joy.
Yes.
So what does the addition of First Joy Preschool mean for MOSD's future?
Yes, so the addition of First Joy Preschool, again, is just the opportunity for MOSD to do what we do a little bit differently with typical hearing children. But now, because we have this partnership, First Joy is able to, and First Joy is able to have deaf children come into the program. Not that they weren't able to do that before, but they have an additional layer of support. As I spoke about earlier, people are afraid because they don't want to do something to hurt the baby. They don't know what this device is, and all of the fear. But we have our wonderful audiologists who've gone over and trained our First Joy Preschool team to say, hey, this is what it is. This is how you put a hearing aid in. This is how you, all of the technical pieces so that we can assuage those fears, so that our First Joy staff will be accepting, continue to be accepting, and we can just build that partnership again, especially for our little ones who are only the programs are only 2 days a week at MOSD. They need to go somewhere else. So it creates the opportunity for us to further support families.
Goodness gracious. Well, got to ask the question.
Okay.
Here we are filming inside this amazing Collierville High
Yes.
School, and working with these incredible
Yes.
students here who are producing and
Yes.
delivering the show was incredible. What message would you have for the students at Collierville High School when it comes to leadership?
When it comes to leadership, I would say believe in yourself and take the risk.
Take the risk.
Yes.
Those are really profound thoughts. I love that. All right, last question.
Yes.
Years and years from now, when you look back and reflect upon your career, what would you hope would be the legacy of Lisa Settle?
When I look back at my career, I hope my legacy would be the growth and the impact that all of the children who have been either in my elementary schools or my other schools or my college students who I taught, that they are impacting our community and our world in a positive way. That I have done something or said something that has helped them be successful. And I hope my legacy, especially at MOSD, is that I was able to grow this program with my wonderful team. I cannot say I do this by myself because I don't. With my wonderful team where we have created and opened the world for so many children and families, and then they have gone on to be successful. And if I can do that for even more children, if I can do that for even more children, that will make my life worthwhile.
That's an amazing legacy.
Yeah.
And you are off to a fantastic start.
Thank you.
Lisa, I cannot tell you how much fun I've had with this,
Yeah.
how much I appreciate
Yeah.
you being here with us. The work that's happening at MOSD is truly life-changing.
Yes,
There's
it
no
is.
question about it. And under your leadership, the leadership of your team,
Yeah.
children and families across this community are gaining confidence. They're
Yeah.
gaining opportunity, and they're creating that stronger voice
Yeah,
for our
absolutely.
future. And so thank you so very much for
Thank
what
you
you
for
do.
having me.
Deafness separates us from people. Helen Keller. The great American Helen Keller, who overcame both blindness and deafness to lead a life of incredible consequence, was one of the strongest advocates for oral deaf education. She viewed speech as essential to overcoming the isolation of deafness and connecting with the hearing world. She believed in the perseverance to learn to speak, calling it a difficult task that rewards the effort. Keller often stated that the loss of hearing is profound because it means the loss of the voice that brings language and connects individuals to the intellectual company of man. One of the greatest champions for oral deaf education was Alexander Graham Bell, the inventor of the telephone. Bell actually created the telephone as a means to promote communications for the deaf. His primary occupation had been as a speech instructor for the deaf, including his mother and his wife. His research into acoustics and vocal physiology and his desire to help the deaf visualize sound accidentally led to the invention of the phonoautograph, a device that could transmit voice over wire. Bell understood that oral deaf education had the capacity to break down communications barriers, and he so knew the value of spoken language to foster independence for deaf individuals. He said, we should try ourselves to forget that they are deaf. We should try to teach them to forget that they are deaf. Oral deaf education has the capacity to transform the lives of children born deaf or with profound hearing loss, from lives of limitations to lives of limitless possibilities. The Memphis Oral School for the Deaf is one of only 50 schools in the world whose purpose is to prepare deaf and hard of hearing students for the world of sound and speech. At MOSD, dedicated faculty and staff empower children ages birth to 5 years old to listen, learn, and talk. Upon graduation from MOSD, students can enter the school of their choice as a regular, non-special education student, armed with the gift of sound and speech, and ready to pursue their dreams and achieve their potential. MOSD is truly a place where dreams come true for deaf children. I've had the enormous privilege of being associated with this amazing school for nearly 30 years. I marveled at the skill and dedication of the teachers and audiologists who change the world every day, one child at a time. I watched the tears streaming down the joyous faces of parents when they hear their deaf child say, I love you, for the very first time. and I witnessed the incredible technological advances in cochlear implants and advanced hearing aids that create the means for children to learn to hear, speak, and sing. For over 60 years, the Memphis Oral School for the Deaf has been delivering miracles and transforming lives. May God bless the generations of parents, students, and teachers and staff who have made MOSD such a magical place. Thank you also to Lisa Settle for her leadership and passion for the children of MOSD. Our community is a much stronger and noisier place because of your dedication. And that is my 2 cents. Until next time, I'm your host, David Pickler. Thank you for watching BullTV, where together we deliver solutions for a stronger community.